Hi, Dr. Caps. This is Travis White-Velez with this week's Advanced Interactive Concept presentation. For this week's presentation, we will be making a pasta rocket. Originally, I thought that this experiment was going to actually be us, sending pasta flying. However, that is not the case. We will actually be making the fuel source for a rocket. So for this experiment, you will use hydrogen peroxide, you will use baker's yeast, and you will use ziti. So I'm going to perform the experiment, and then I will go back and explain exactly, what reactions that took place happened and why they fueled or didn't fuel the flame or the fire. We'll see. One important note is if there are any children watching this, first you want to ask your parents or guardians for help with this experiment, and you also want to remember that you are using a flame, and that is dangerous, as well as peroxide. So be sure to have an adult present when attempting this experiment. So for this, you want to drill a hole in the lid of a mason jar. You want to use the jar itself. You want to take the baker's yeast and the hydrogen peroxide. The hydrogen peroxide, I'm going to fill about a quarter of the way up in the jar. Just so you can see what I'm doing there. Just filling that up with hydrogen peroxide. And then you want to do about half a tablespoon of the baker's yeast. First, position your pasta first. It's kind of important for a later step. You want to get your baker's yeast. You want to put it in there. Put your lid on. Give it a good shake to agitate everything up. Make sure it's mixed. And then you want to take your flame and light your pasta. And once your pasta really gets going, and now that the pasta is going, you should be able to see that. And the pasta is still going. All right. And now I will show you, what happens if I lift the lid slightly. You see that the flame goes out. I will be back in a moment to explain exactly why that happened. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm back, and now that I've completed the experiment, I will explain why what happened. So hydrogen peroxide is 2H2O2. Excuse me. Hydrogen peroxide is 2H2O2. And the yeast contains catalase, which is a catalyst that helps to break down the hydrogen peroxide into 2H2O plus O2. So essentially the byproduct of this, breakdown or this chemical reaction is going to be 2 hydrogen and 2 oxygen plus an extra O2 molecule, which is used to fuel the fire. When you put it over the hole in the lid, the oxygen is all forced out of one opening. And as we know, oxygen fuels fire. So just to show you that, the oxygen fueled the fire, I'm going to light just a regular noodle. And you'll see it does take a little while to catch. And if it does ever catch, it takes a while. Not like the other one at all. But when it does catch, as soon as you remove the flame, the noodle just, goes out. So again, just to kind of sum up the reaction of what happened, you had the hydrogen peroxide and the yeast, which sped up the reaction of the hydrogen peroxide breakdown, and it released extra oxygen essentially. The oxygen provided a fuel source for the fire, and you notice that when the noodle on the lid burnt down more, the closer it got to the hole or the source of oxygen, the more the flame burned or the bigger it got. Other than that, I hope I explained this experiment the right way, and I hope I explained it in a way that you would understand the reaction of hydrogen peroxide and yeast. Stay safe, be well. Thank you for watching.